right. Good Wednesday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Wednesday. I am your meteorologist, Joseph Peterson. Let's go on and talk about the weather for your Wednesday evening going into your future. But first, as we always do on these Wednesday evenings, it is Wednesday, which means we are halfway done with the week. Yes, we are halfway done with the week, and so that is obviously a great thing. We only have Thursday and Friday to go, and we will be at the weekend. If you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button, go on and do so. We're at 598, trying to get to that main goal of 600. 600, we'll be having a Q&A, so make sure that if you have not shared it yet, go on and share it. We also have around 5 people in here right now and only 2 likes. And I know we definitely have 2 more people inside the, definitely have more than 2 people inside the chat, just because I can see in the live chat, I can count at least 4. So go on and hit the like button right now if you have not already. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Well, we will in fact talk about our stable to unsettled pattern as we go throughout the rest of October. We also will go on and talk about the tropics and tropical storm Melissa, about to be Category 4 major hurricane Melissa out there inside of the Caribbean. And then for the most part, that is about all that we will be talking about. Maybe might pull out some temperatures, see what's going on there. Especially if some cold fronts get going, which they most likely will. So we probably will talk about that. But other than that, that is all that we're going to really talk about for tonight. So starting off, what is going on throughout the entire state of South Carolina? Absolutely nothing is going on right now. Nothing at all. And so that is good. But in terms of rainfall for the entire U.S., obviously, definitely a different story. Rainfall ongoing in the UP of Michigan, as well as Michigan, going into New York, Pennsylvania, going into Wisconsin, Indiana. Rainfall also going on in California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and even New Mexico, getting in on some of that rainfall. Even down there in Florida, they also have some rainfall going on down over there. Cloud cover. We do not have any cloud cover going on right now. No cloud cover is ongoing as we speak, but what about for our future? You go in and push this forward, you can see that cloud cover, for the most part, continues its way out to the east, and you do in fact have some cloud cover that will move in to like the southern South Carolina areas in the very low country. But everyone else stays relatively on the clear side. Everyone stays mostly on the clear side, and there is indeed, even though most of us stay clear, you also, especially for tonight, you also have to watch out for some fog as well. I don't know if it's talking about, or not some fog, but some frost as well. Fog, not really too much of a concern, but we'll talk about the frost when we get to like the cooler temperatures. But for the most part, mostly clear. Current temperatures right now, 60 in Columbia, as well as 58 in Orangeburg, 59 in Somerville, and 61 in Georgetown, 64 in Murray's Inlet, as well as 58 in Conway, 65 in Myrtle Beach, and 64 in North Myrtle Beach. We also do have around 58 in Lawrence, 58 in Greenwood, 60 in Aiken, even around 63 in Charleston. We also do have around 65 in Beaufort, 55 in Newberry, and 57 in, or 56 in Newberry, 57 in Greenville, and 54 in Spartanburg, 53 in Gaffney, 56 York, 55 in Rock Hill. Low temperatures for tonight, around 42 in Greenville, 43 in Spartanburg, and even around 42 inside of Lawrence, 46 in Columbia, 46 in Orangeburg, 45 in Moncks Corner, even around 55 inside of Charleston, 48 in Georgetown, and 51 in Myrtle Beach, 54 in Hilton Head Island, and 44 in Barnwell. Now for your rainfall for tonight, no rainfall is expected as we move through tonight and tomorrow, so we are good in terms of rainfall for the next 24 hours. And in terms of the crazy score, we're only at a 10. A 10 meaning we are inside the calm category, so dry conditions, no flood risk, chilly temperatures, patchy frost, which I said I was going to talk about. Frost is definitely going to be a possibility, especially the more you get up into the upstate. Upstate, you're going to have low temperatures around 42, maybe even a bit lower for some isolated areas. It can get down to 40 to maybe even an isolated spot might even get into the high 30s. And so frost is definitely going to be a concern up there inside of the upstate. That, and then also the atmosphere will be stable, so nothing really for us to say there. No thunderstorms are expected tonight, tomorrow, or Friday. So we are good in terms of thunderstorms as we move all the way through to Friday. And then for excessive rainfall, no excessive rainfall is expected either. So let's go on now and talk about our short-term future first. We're going to start off here at 9 o'clock p.m. You go in and push this forward. No rainfall is expected as you go all the way through to 1 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. We continue that all the way into tomorrow evening. That still shows no precipitation all the way into October the 24th at 2 p.m. And so we still seem dry. Now, what about the long-term future? Obviously, that won't last for a long time. As we get into around like the 27th and the 28th, it shows rainfall pushing in from the west. Is this a cold front? Potentially. From what I'm seeing from this, if we go and look at the dew points, it looks like that honestly it's just previous cold air. That's already kind of been here, because this is where we are right now. You just go in and continue this forward. It just looks like just some more cooler air. So it's not like a cold front or anything like that. But if you go in and push this forward even more all the way into around October the 29th, this could potentially be a cold front here for sure, as we have a bunch of cool air moving on October the 30th and the 31st, and especially, which is kind of coincidental, on Halloween night as well. It's going to be super cool. Super cool that night. If you go in and look at it here, there goes a secondary cold front that pushes in on October the 29th. We get dew points down into the 20s and 30s. It's going to be dry. And with that, obviously, does come dry conditions. So at least that looks good. But in terms of temperatures and what they look like, temperatures will be down into the 30s for a good amount of us, and the 40s also for a good amount of us as well, especially as we go through those nighttime hours going into November. Now, if we continue even further past there, looks to be dry again as we go through the 3rd, the 4th, another cold front potentially on the November the 5th into the 6th, and then after that, that is about all that I have in terms of our future. So, I mean, I'm seeing like a couple of cold fronts, but other than that, it looks nice and dry for us over here. Now, that is it for the models. What about the tropics? So, the main question for tonight is what's going to happen with Tropical Storm Melissa. Right now it's a 50 mile per hour storm, and if you go on and look at the cone, this is what the cone looks like, but let me go on and show you what it actually looks like right now, currently. It definitely has gotten its act together a lot more. Its act together a lot more, and so this is what it currently looks like. The discussion for this does indeed read: Melissa is forecast to meander over the central Caribbean Sea and could potentially become a major hurricane by early next week. Interests in Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, and the Dominican Republic are urged to continue monitoring the latest forecast updates. Due to Melissa's slow motion, the risk of prolonged period of strong winds, possibly lasting for a day or more, is increasing for Jamaica and the peninsula of Haiti. Preparations to protect life and property should be rushed to completion, not just calmly or anything like that. They should be rushed to completion, since strong winds could begin in these areas as early as late Thursday or Friday, and it will continue increasingly over the weekend. Melissa is expected to produce heavy rainfall across portions of the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica through this weekend, bringing a risk of significant life-threatening flash flooding and numerous landslides. So, pretty much, to sum it up, this thing's going to do some damage. I think that's probably the main thing that we should probably be getting out of that. This thing will do some damage, and so that's why they said anybody in Jamaica, Haiti, Cuba, Dominican Republic should be preparing for that now, just because these conditions could start as early as late Thursday for these areas, and so This is, again, a cone, but more of a bigger look. You can see, remember, it actually was kind of pointing a little bit more to the north where my cursor is right here, where this 2 p.m. Saturday is. That's where it was expecting to go, but look, it's taking that shift a bit more to the west, which, not the greatest sign for us, but still too far out, and this thing definitely could still take a big curve. But just look at how slow it's going to be moving from 8 p.m. on Wednesday to 2 p.m. on Saturday. I mean, this thing is moving west at 1 mile an hour right now. West at 1 mile per hour. That's how slow this thing is moving. And so it's moving so slow, it's going to be strengthening. It's going to be gaining all of its strength while it's moving slow, and it's just going to dump a whole bunch of rainfall over these areas. And it's going to bring probably, definitely tropical storm force winds for more than a day. So it's going to be a long next couple of days for these areas. But what does this have to say for us over here inside the U.S.? Well, the hurricane models, not the GFS. We'll get to the GFS in just a second, but the hurricane models, for the most part, still have this thing going out to sea. It goes about 168 hours out, so around a good 7 days out. And most of them still have this thing going out mostly to sea. Obviously, when I say out to sea, I mean there still will be some areas that will be impacted, like Cuba, Bahamas as well. But up there in the U.S., no concerns. But this is just the hurricane models. What about the other ones? In terms of the GFS kind of says the same thing. There is a couple that goes more into like Western Cuba that would be more of a concern over there for like, especially like Southern Florida. But for us, again, in South Carolina, I don't really see too much there either. And then for the GEPS, same thing, but this one has a little bit more models that are more further to the west, going even into Florida a little bit as well. Now, that's just one model run, but has going up into Florida and then going up into like near New York City. But again, one model run. It's not going to be like that exactly. But the median of it still shows going out. And then for intensity, at this point, I mean, we're almost expecting it now to be a Category 4. So if there's a couple models saying it could be a Category 5, well, you got to look at it and you got to say, well, it's a possibility for sure. Now, what about the Euro? The Euro is the other one that we look at. Usually when we're talking about the actual, when we actually are talking about like the actual just tropics themselves, and then whenever we're looking at another system, but we can go in and look at both. If we go in and see what the Euro has to show, you go in and push this forward right here. You go in and push this all the way through. I mean, and this is still, I mean, on the 27th. This is 5 days out from now, and it's still out here in the Caribbean. And finally, it gets its act together and curves away just after it's been sitting in the Caribbean for about six days at this point. And you go all the way through Cuba, you go all the way through the Bahamas, and then, but I'm not seeing anything in terms of landfall for anything in the U.S. Now, disregarding Melissa for a second, you might also want to see and just point out what's going on behind it, what's going to happen after. You see a couple of low pressures, but I'm not seeing anything too concerning. I see like a little area right here where my cursor is, where there could potentially be something. But confidence is very low on it. At this point. And I do think that if that doesn't get going, it's not going to be the end of hurricane season, but it will be, at this point, getting close to at least the pretty active portion, unless we have another huge surge come through. And so that's all that I really have to say for Melissa. Not really too much more for me to say, except for we're just going to still continue to watch for it, but there's just no concerns for us right now here in South Carolina. Definitely still be aware for it and make sure that your hurricane plans are in place, but nothing for me really to go too in depth with. Let's go in and talk with the audience now. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say for tonight. Starting off, Mr. Chris here first tonight. Says, good evening, everyone. Hope you had a great day. I did. Thank you so much for asking. Good evening to you. Also says, please remember to go hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Now is a vital time to do so. He's absolutely correct. We have, right now, 9 people in here watching, only 4 likes. If you are a part of that 5 that have not hit the like button yet, go on and do so. It's free. You can change your mind at any time. Also, we're at 598, trying to get to that main goal of 600. Let's go on and get there as well. He also says, very nice day here in Moncks Corner. Soon as the sun went down, started to cool off quickly. Absolutely. Right now, which I thought it was, I thought it was 50 degrees early, and then I was looking now, it says 54. It was actually 59. It was 60. So I thought it was 10 degrees cooler than it actually was, but it was around the high 50s when I went outside about like 2 hours ago or so, 3 hours ago or so. It was around 59-ish or so. And so now at my house, on my older weather station, it only says around 55 right now. But definitely started to cool off quickly. My Aunt Lulu comes in and says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Today in Georgetown, it was beautiful. Glad to hear that. Also says, I need rain in my garden. Rain is coming. Rain is coming. When will it? It honestly might be in a couple of days, though. You might have to wait a little bit going into next week. So it's going to be a little bit, but it's not going to be too long, hopefully. My Nana says, hello, Jay. A really nice day. I got lots of sun. Glad to hear that. Glad that you got outside and got some sunlight today. Mr. Anthony says, good evening, everyone. Good evening to you as well. Thad says, good evening, everyone. A great day here on my end. I trust all is well with you. All is well with me. So thank you so much for asking. But hopefully, all is well with you as well. And that is all I can see inside the chat right now. If you want to be part of the chat again, you need to go on and be a subscriber of the channel. And to be a subscriber of the channel, you have to be a YouTube account holder, meaning that you need to have a YouTube account. So let's go on and talk about the 4 locations outside of South Carolina. You might be asking, what 4 locations am I talking about? I'm talking about San Antonio, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as well as Duncan, Oklahoma. The reason why we talk about these areas is because we have people from these areas who tune in almost nightly, sometimes nightly, and so that is the reason why. So we're going to go on and talk about San Antonio first, with low temperatures tonight at 71, high temperatures tomorrow at 90, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 71 again. No precipitation is expected at this time. And then in terms of excessive rainfall, you do actually have a pretty close severe threat to you that they might issue. They might bring it closer to you. I'm not quite sure, but that's for Friday. Isolated flash flooding is possible for you on Friday, so definitely do watch for that. Now for Raleigh, North Carolina, though, low temperatures tonight at 43, high temperatures tomorrow at 71, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 41. No precipitation is expected at this time, but on Thursday, fire weather. That is, I guess, counts for your severe weather for today. Fire weather will be a concern, as you will have an elevated risk of fire weather. That is for Thursday, so tomorrow. So make sure that you are watching out for that. If you don't have to burn anything, please don't. Please do not. Definitely not recommended at all. Let's go on now and talk about Philadelphia, with low temperatures tonight at 47, high temperatures tomorrow at 61, and then low temperatures tomorrow night at 41. I think I made a bit of a mistake there, because that showers should be gone. Let me make sure real quick. Yes, that shower should be gone. That should be just none. No precipitation is expected for you at this time. No severe weather, no excessive rainfall. You're good. And then for Duncan, Oklahoma, probably the area with the most attention at this point. Low temperatures tonight at 54, high temperatures tomorrow 84, and then low temperatures tomorrow night 61. No precipitation is expected tonight, but there is a slight chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, and thunderstorms are likely tomorrow night, so you definitely have to watch for that. Now, in terms of flash flooding, isolated flash flooding is possible tomorrow going into Friday morning, but Friday going into Saturday morning, scattered flash flooding is indeed possible. Now, that's a 15% risk. That's not the highest of risk, but it is still a risk that you're going to have to watch for. Now, that's not the only thing. The other thing you're going to have to watch out for as well is severe weather. Tomorrow, you do have a marginal risk of severe weather. All hazards are possible. All hazards are possible. Tornadoes are possible. Damaging winds is possible. Damaging hail is possible. That is now it's the low end. So when I say that is possible, I mean we're not expecting huge tornadoes, damaging wind gusts up to 80, 90 miles per hour. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying that isolated tornadoes are possible for you. Isolated damaging wind gusts of up to 60 miles per hour is possible for you. And isolated damaging hail of up to an inch in diameter is possible for you. So keep that in mind as you go through tomorrow. Not only that, but then also the flash flood risk. That is all that I have for those 4 locations. Nothing else really for me to talk about there. So what's going on throughout the entire U.S., just weather news-wise? Unsettled weather will continue over the northeastern U.S. over the next couple of days as a storm system persists over the southeastern part of Canada. Lake effect snow, or lake effect showers, not snow, and thunderstorms are expected downwind of the Great Lakes through Friday. Unsettled weather will continue over the northeastern U.S. over the next couple of days as the storm system persists over southeastern Canada. I'm pretty sure they wrote that down twice by accident because they said that earlier. But I guess they really want you to know there will be unsettled weather in the Northeast. Now, not only that, but also fire weather. Fire weather will be ongoing, not only for South Carolina, but also for North Carolina. We already were talking about North Carolina, so we already talked about that last night. But tomorrow as well, we still should not be forgetting about tomorrow as well. Up here near Rock Hill, going up to near Gaffney, to York, and just to the east of Spartanburg as well. There is indeed an elevated fire risk as you go into tomorrow, so make sure that you're not burning anything if you're up there. Even inside of the low country, South Carolina, where I am, I've got an alert on my phone saying that probably shouldn't be burning anything either. So definitely, if anybody cannot burn anything tomorrow, that would be absolutely fantastic. And so, especially up there if you're inside of like the Rock Hill areas. And that is all that I had there as well. Let me see anything else that we have that I want to talk about. I just see a lot of cold air going on from Nebraska to Kansas over into Kentucky. Freezing will also be going on. Potentially Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, Virginia, North Carolina, and then other than that, the West looks good. So I assume that is all that we have. So if you have not hit the like button or the subscribe button yet, go ahead and do so. We are at 498 or 598, trying to get to 600. Let me check out the chat one more time. Mr. Chris comes back and says, "Well, it's going to be cold there in North Carolina." It is. It is as well. If I go in and check out the actual low temperature for Raleigh, 43. I mean, it's going to be cooler and colder in South Carolina as well. 43 up there for Raleigh. For us here in South Carolina, it's going to be down to potentially 40, 42. So somewhere around there. So it might even be lower. Cheryl says, "Greetings, everyone. I'm late. Had a meeting. That's okay. Still made it. That's all that matters." Top fans for tonight. Miss Chris at number 1, my Aunt Lou is at number 2, and then Thad is at number 3. Congratulations to the 3 of y'all for being the top fans for tonight. If you want to be a top fan, you can. You just have to be here early, and you have to obviously have a YouTube account if you want to type in it. You have to be active inside the chat, so just more than just one chat. That is all that I have. So everyone have a fantastic rest of your Wednesday evening. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Thursday morning forecast update. And make sure before you leave, you go on and hit those 2 buttons.